Welcome back to Community Corner Podcast, Personal Finance Edition. I'm Rashmi, joined by my co-host Olivia.
So last episode, we started the topic of insurance and went in-depth about two types, auto and home.
This episode, we're going to cover the other two, medical and life insurance.
So let's start off with medical insurance, which can also be known as health insurance. Those two terms can be used interchangeably. It helps to cover costs associated with medical and surgical expenses.
According to the World Economic Forum, America has the most expensive healthcare in the world with an average of $12,318 per person in 2021. And standing at second place, Germany has an average of $7,383 per person, but that's still 40% lower.
Even in the countries with more expensive healthcare, none of them stand close to how much the average U.S. citizen has to pay. This is why it's so important to make sure you understand how medical insurance works and find a plan that best suits your needs by lowering the expenses as much as you can.
Medical insurance comes with a plethora of coverages, starting off with hospitalization coverage. It covers expenses related to hospital stays, including room charges, surgeries, medications, and more.
Outpatient services coverage includes doctor visits, diagnostic tests like blood tests, x-rays, or MRIs, and consultations.
You also get coverage for the cost of prescribed medications.
Some plans include coverage for preventative services like vaccinations, screenings, and wellness checkups.
Specialist care coverage helps cover for consultations and treatments by specialists.
You get coverage for emergency room visits and ambulance services in severe cases.
Did you know that the average ambulance ride in America costs $1,300? Imagine how hard it would be to cover that cost without insurance, especially because situations like these are not really planned.
Yeah, I know about a lot of people who have had to deny ambulances because they just can't afford it. So there's definitely a reason why we're the most expensive country for healthcare.
Oh yeah. And then finally, some policies provide coverage for mental health and rehabilitation services.
Something to keep in mind is that there isn't one type of insurance. This is extremely beneficial because everybody has different needs and you need a plan that adapts for you.
Exactly. So one of the plans that you could have is called the Health Maintenance Organization, which requires individuals to select a primary care physician and seek referrals from specialists.
There is the Preferred Provider Organization Plan, which offers a network of healthcare providers and allows flexibility in choosing specialists without referrals.
And the Point of Service Plan combines aspects of the HMO and PPO plans, providing a primary care physician and network flexibility.
There's a few things to be aware of when you get your insurance. Before the insurance coverage begins, you'll have to pay a certain amount of money out of pocket. These are called deductibles.
And in order to maintain the coverage provided by the insurance plan, you have to pay payments at regular intervals. That could be monthly, quarterly, or annually. These are called premiums.
Two more terms to keep in mind are copayments and coinsurance. Copayments are fixed amounts that policyholders pay for specific services, for example, like a doctor visit or a prescription, and coinsurance represents the percentage of healthcare costs shared between the insurer and the policyholder after meeting the deductible.
Okay, so let's do a quick scenario to make sure we understand this in application.
Let's say a guy named John has health insurance plans through his employer. One day he experiences severe abdominal pain and is rushed to the emergency room. After a series of tests and consultations with specialists, it's diagnosed that John has appendicitis and needs an emergency surgery to remove the appendix.
This is how medical insurance comes into play. It assists with emergency room expenses upon his hospital arrival, covering diagnostics, consultations, and immediate care. During his hospitalization for surgery, the insurance plan significantly contributes to costs encompassing the surgical procedures, anesthesia, room charges, equipment, and medical supplies.
Post-surgery, the insurance continues to cover his care, including medications and monitoring. Follow-up appointments with his surgeon and primary care physician for recovery checkups are also part of the coverage. And his insurance helps with the costs of prescribed medications, making them more affordable for him.
Scenarios like this can happen to anyone at any time, which is why it's so important to have a medical insurance plan. It prevents you from losing a large sum of money that can severely affect your finances and in this case even your health.
Yeah. So let's move on to the last insurance plan, life insurance. There's a few terms that you should know before I start explaining. So, first of all, beneficiaries are the individuals or entities designated to receive the death benefit. Death benefit is the amount paid to beneficiaries upon a policyholder's death. And third, cash value is the accumulated savings that can be accessed during the policyholder's lifetime. We'll explain all of that now.
It's a weird thing to think about, definitely. You're essentially planning for when you die. As odd as it is, it's crucial to have.
Yeah, it provides a safety net for your loved ones, ensuring that they can maintain their standard of living and cover expenses in case of your unexpected death, because you won't be contributing income at that point.
Right. And it can also cover outstanding debts such as mortgages, personal loans, and or other financial liabilities, preventing your family from being burdened further by your debts.
If you own a business, you can keep it going with the money from the insurance. You can even use it to make charitable contributions to support causes important to you after death.
All of this can be put together as a definition. Life insurance is a financial product designed to provide a monetary benefit to beneficiaries upon the policyholder's death. It serves as a safeguard to support dependents or beneficiaries financially in the event of the policyholder's passing.
There are various types of insurance policies, but we'll be covering the two primary categories: term life insurance and permanent life insurance.
Term life insurance offers coverage for a specific period, such as 10, 20, 30 years, with the premiums being typically lower compared to permanent life insurance, and it remains constant throughout the chosen term.
If the insured person passes away during the policy's term, the beneficiaries receive the death benefit.
Term life insurance usually does not accumulate cash value over time.
Moving on to permanent life insurance. There are different types of this, but all of them provide coverage for the entire life of the insured person and accumulate cash value that policyholders can access through withdrawals or loans while they're alive.
Whole life insurance offers coverage for life, with fixed premiums and guaranteed cash value components that grow over time.
Universal life insurance provides flexibility in premium payments and death benefits, allowing policyholders to adjust coverage levels and premium amounts.
Variable life insurance combines life insurance with investment options, allowing policyholders to invest in various sub-accounts, which can affect the policy's cash value and death benefit.
So let's see how this will work in application. Let's say we have a woman who's the mother of 2 young children and has term life insurance policy with a coverage period of 20 years and a death benefit of $500,000.
She is the primary breadwinner in her family, and her husband works part-time to take care of the kids. One day, tragically, Sarah passes away unexpectedly due to a sudden illness. Her death leaves her family devastated emotionally and financially.
Her life insurance policy is able to provide financial stability to her grieving family. The payout acts as a substitute for her lost income, assisting her husband in managing day-to-day expenses, mortgage payments, childcare costs, and other financial obligations previously reliant on her earnings.
Moreover, the insurance proceeds enable the settlement of outstanding debts, including the mortgage and loans, preventing any extra financial strain on the family. A portion of the payout is held for the children's future education expenses, ensuring ongoing financial support.
Additionally, the life insurance covers the funeral and final expenses, alleviating the immediate financial burden associated with her passing and allowing the family to focus on grieving without worrying about expenses.
As mentioned before, things like these are never planned or expected. It's always important to be prepared beforehand so the financial situation of you and or your family is not at risk.
Insurance needs tend to change as life progresses. What you may need as a young adult may not be the same or as necessary when you're nearing retirement.
That's true, but minus the healthcare, I'd say. Your health matters no matter how old you are.
You have a point. So for young adults, I'd say health insurance and homeowners insurance would be key. Health insurance is always going to be there, but also this is when they rent or even buy their first home.
Even an auto insurance would be applicable since transportation is required to go to their job.
Yeah, and if you're married and starting a family, health insurance plays an even bigger role because there are more dependents relying on you for medical expenses, so your health insurance will probably grow. Even having auto insurance is more important if you have people relying on you for transportation or your kids start driving.
Right. And getting married often prompts the need for life insurance to financially protect a spouse and potentially children in case of unexpected death.
Yeah, and as you reach retirement, you'll start focusing more on your retirement, which we'll be talking about in the next episode, and life insurance becomes even more important.
What I noticed throughout this is that you'll eventually get all the insurances, but the level to which, to the extent that you need it is what changes. So assess your situation right now and make sure that all your property and finances are being protected.
That's all for today. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Community Corner Podcast, Personal Finance Edition. This is Olivia and Rashmi.
Cashing off.